All right, hey, welcome back to Papa Scott Productions. This is another episode of Papa Talks. Today we have the one and only and my friend Chris Wylde. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, what's going on? I've been actually on the waiting list for this show.
Yeah, it was a short wait list, though.
But it was a short wait list. But it's good to be here.
Thank you.
We're here at 1CW.
Yep.
Another Saturday, another wrestling show. You know how it goes.
Yep. So I've been looking forward to this because I know you're a podcaster too, right?
Yeah, I started actually before the pandemic. It was weird. I started getting into sports. I like all Philly sports.
Oh, okay.
So, being a Philly sports fan, I have a shitload of stuff to complain about.
Right.
And I was just talking to myself at times because nobody wanted to listen to
Right.
it. So I said, why not just put it on camera? And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and I had nothing to do. So it made it even easier. And I do all sorts of stuff now. It's such a good platform to have.
Yeah, you do a good job too.
I appreciate that.
So hey, let's start by, why don't you just tell us where you're from?
I'm actually from boring Dover, Delaware.
From
yeah,
Dover,
yeah,
right.
Born and raised Dover, Delaware. So
Well, it's not really boring. A lot goes on in Dover. Not good. But
compared to some, not good, but compared to some other cities, I mean, it's like I'll never come out saying from Dover, Delaware, Chris Wylde. Like you'll never hear.
Where do you?
Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you spend time in Philly, or you
a
just
lot,
Philly fan? Yeah,
a lot of time in Philadelphia. So
cool.
I mean, it makes sense, and it's better than Delaware, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Maryland boy, so.
Okay, that's way better than Delaware. I'd rather be a Maryland boy.
So, what sparked your interest in professional wrestling? How far back did that go?
Man, kid, since I was a child. I grew up separated, broken home. I had a stepfather, but as a kid, like I'm talking 6, 7 years old, it takes you a while to trust somebody that's not your dad. So I had the TV, and I'll never forget it. I've told this story before. The old WWF Superstars, the not the entrance, but the starting video for it.
The intro, yeah.
Yeah, the intro had this guy with electricity running through his body, and I mean, it was like there was clouds and there was storms, and it was the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this is a real dude. Like, this isn't a cartoon.
That's cool you said that, because I tell everybody the Ultimate Warrior is my favorite.
Oh, man, and Ultimate Warrior, the character, the wrestler, it was my favorite of all time. Obviously, he's as a man, he did some things that aren't very right. Or said some things, but I think we all have at times. But I mean, the guy was larger than life. He made me want to watch. So I would sit through an entire wrestling show just to maybe see if he was on it. And then I just fell in love with the other guys on the show, and it just manifested from there. And don't worry, through time, I did end up liking wrestlers that could, wrestle a good 30-minute match. Bret Hart was like my guy. Shawn Michaels, all the guys.
Everybody loved Shawn.
Oh yeah, it was. I loved even Hogan, man. I kind of dug what Hogan did too. I appreciated it.
Yeah, of course. How about Randy, Macho Man?
Loved Macho Man too.
Yeah.
Man, and it's especially
that era.
Today, I appreciate them even more.
Right.
It's just, and that's nothing against today's era of wrestlers, but I mean, like, there was just so. It was everyone was larger than life, dude. It was.
So would you say Ultimate Warrior was your favorite wrestler?
Growing up as a kid, absolutely. And even now, like, they come out with the all the little Warrior figures and stuff. They're just so much cooler than the other ones.
Absolutely.
So I'm like,
that face paint was really cool.
Yeah, it was, and just he was jacked. The whole package. One thing WWF and WWE still today does the best is the way that they package their guys. I mean,
so tell us how you got started. How old were you when you got started?
I was. See me looking in the air because I can't remember.
Have you been there a long time?
Damn. I can't remember. I was in my early 20s, and I never planned on being a wrestler ever. Like it was one of those dreams. Like I want to catch a touchdown in the NFL. Like it was a pipe dream. You know what I mean? And I was actually working for Sean Hardy. We worked at a bar in Dover called JW's with a guy named Steve Grossman, and they went to a big CZW show. CZW used to have, I think it was Cage of Death, or it was some deathmatch tournament at another bar in Delaware, because Delaware didn't, Jersey had so many strict laws where Delaware didn't. So Steve and Sean were at that show, and they said, damn, this guy's making, the guy that owns this building is making a shitload of money doing this. We could probably put something together. They got with a guy named Jeff Rocker, who was a wrestler for CZW. and they came up with a promotion, DCW, and then Jeff opened up a school, and he came up to me and said, "Why don't you come by the school and check it out?" Now he was trying to recruit me because they needed students, they needed money. I knew what was happening, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe I could be a referee or something, or maybe I could ring the bell." And I took that first bump, man, and it was and he was like, "You can do this."
Yeah, I think it's funny that guys like you and Miles Williams said the same thing, that they started training thinking they were going to be, a ref or manager.
Yeah, and it's especially I'm 5'6.5".
Right.
Even at that time, it was still the land of the giants.
Sure.
Like now, as years went by, you had guys Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, guys like that, where maybe I could think, I can wrestle. But at that time, it was huge guys doing it. And I just didn't think it was something I could do. And then, again, you just take that first bump, and it's almost like a drug.
Yeah.
I've never done any drugs in my life.
Cool.
I've never smoked a cigarette. I like to drink when I can.
Yeah.
Socially. But this is wrestling is my
That's your high.
Absolute drug. It's my vice.
Right.
There's nothing like it on this planet.
So, do you remember your first pro match?
Yeah, it was against a fellow student. His name was Kento Sai. He had a Japanese gimmick.
What promotion was that?
It was for DCW.
Okay.
It was when Sean and Steve ran it at the bar that they owned. I think it was their third show there. A nice little match. I mean,
most first matches aren't much, but they're memorable.
Yeah, I wore Under Armour to the ring. You know what I mean? Like
it's
wrestling
fun to look
shoes.
back.
It's not for me. It's terrifying.
Yeah, well,
so,
it's funny. We look back at Ty stuff all the time.
It's crazy. And even years after that, watching stuff, and I'm like, I thought I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything then.
Amazing. So, hey, let's take a minute and look at some of Chris's stuff.
Coming after each other, rights and lefts. Left.
That's it.
Oh, and he misses.
Way with the title was in the ring.
Oh, but that's going to help.
Big kick to the challenger. Discus punch by the champion. Goes under. Chris Wylde climbs the ropes, looking to put his challenger away. And a diamond cutter off the top rope. That should do it. 1, 2, 3, and Chris Wylde retains his title.
It's playing now.
All right.
So, I like to ask, I'm a big seminar guy. I'm training,
cool.
But I like seminars. I like to hear seminars people have been to. So what some of the seminars you've done?
I've been to, so I can tell you, the best one I went to was probably Dr. Tom Prichard. He's just an absolute savant when it comes to wrestling. He's a genius. He trained the crop of guys like Brock and Cena, Orton. Back in when WWF had the FCW, he was a big. So his seminar was basically, here are the drills that we ran,
Which is great.
and then psychology, why you do this, why you do that. Jake the Snake Roberts was a very interesting seminar. He had one at the ECW Arena. This was before he joined DDP, so he was still in a really bad place.
Oh wow!
And the stories were unreal to hear. He made us do 1 million squats. It was off the charts. But that was the most interesting one. And then I've just been to so many different ones. Harley Race was another one. Just genius. I mean, these are guys. Ric Flair, Jeff Jarrett. I mean, these are Kurt Angle.
Wow.
So I'm like you. I really like. I can watch people show me how to do an arm bar or show me how to do an arm wringer, but what happens when something goes wrong in a match, or the little intricate things, how to make somebody react to you.
Right.
What do you do when nobody's reacting?
Yeah.
What do you do? That's what I like.
Right.
And everybody has a different answer, and
Yeah.
everybody's answer is right in some way, and it's just finding what's.
And experience, you take a little bit of their body and you apply it in the situation.
Yep, knowledge is power. That's a true cliche, especially in this business.
Very cool,
Yeah.
very cool. So, I met you, I don't think I met you here. I think I met you at ECWA.
ECWA, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good time. So I know you wrestled some bigger promotions. What are some of the bigger indie promotions you wrestled?
So ECWA, it was probably honestly the biggest.
Yeah.
Because I started working there when Jim Kettner had it.
Oh wow.
And for those that are listening that don't know, like Jim Kettner he worked for Vince. He's the originator of the Super 8 tournament, which is basically what ROH is now, or what ROH was.
Right.
All the big. If you worked for ECWA, like there was something about you.
Right.
When Kettner had it, and even when Tartaga had it afterwards, it kind of. But that was the biggest for me then, and then I've done little things with Impact when it was TNA.
Right.
And WWE.
Yeah, so I was going to go into that. Tell us a little bit about your WWE. I know you've been there several times. I've
been there a bunch, and it's some guys don't like doing it because doing extra work because it's a really long day.
It really is, but it's so cool.
It's to me, I love every moment of that because in my regular life I work in a jail.
Right.
So from going to working into jail to it's like a rock star lifestyle. Like you're in there, you're dressed nice, you eat the best food. You're just waiting for a moment or an opportunity that you have, and that's just the way.
And you never know what's going to happen.
You never know, and the biggest thing, the biggest example of that is a guy like James Ellsworth.
Right.
Kept showing up, and eventually gets that spot with Strowman, and he ends up getting like a 2 or 3 year contract from that. I mean, and he's 5'5", skinny, like, you know what I mean? But man, it's just the ride that he went on because he'll tell me some stories, and it's just like it's unreal. I talked to Mike Bennett there. You would have tryout matches, before SmackDown, and Mike would always watch, and he would really watch, and he'd always give like really great critiques. One of the things he told me was. Because, we got friendly. And he's like, you work at the jail. He said, when you're in there, like, just in the back of your head, think, like, this is your way out. Like, he was addicted to painkillers. He was like, once he got clean, when he got in the ring, he said, that was my mindset. Like, this is keeping me away from that. And that's how, it's fight or flight when you're in there. Like, think, like, that this, every single time you get in the ring is a moment to get out of where you don't like to be.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, man, I still think of that now. Every little match, whether it's 50 people or 500 people. But that was like one of the great things about going there. And you talk about seminars, going to WWE and doing just that little work. Sure. First off, it's awesome because it's the biggest company.
That's where that's the goal.
It's the biggest company. I mean, it's just, you have to keep an eye open, watch everything, hear I'm talking guys that are setting up lights, setting up the ring, the way the referees communicate. That is basically a 12-hour seminar.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's I would sometimes just stand by guys going over their match or talking to producers just so I could like a sponge.
Yeah.
So there's never a experience that it wasn't an experience for me. But that was definitely awesome. TNA was cool too.
So I like to ask everybody if they have any funny stories or a road story or something, traveling, something crazy. I'm sure you.
I've got stuff I probably can't talk about.
Just pick one. I mean, you can say whatever really here.
Oh man, shoot. You know what? There's a lot of stuff I can't say, and I'm trying to think of
something you could.
You know what I'll tell you? This is probably the one story that won't get me in trouble. Because I'm being said, like the guys that I travel with on the road, like Zach Connor was my roommate, and we traveled on the road. We did really crazy stuff, and I'm sure anyone that hears this, there's going to be somebody that's going to be like, "What?" So I'll tell you the most innocent one. It was when I first started. Before I really started working in the ring, I would travel with my trainer Jeff, everywhere. We went to Germany. Actually, this is a good story. This isn't the one I was going to tell you, but we flew over to Germany, to Freising, Germany, to work for a company called XCW. They were doing a gimmick where it was USA versus Germany. Obviously, USA is the bad guys, right? Now, the communication, I don't know German, so it was tough putting the match together, whatever, but they said to us, you have to be careful because these fans really, really think this is real. So I'm wrestling this guy. There's no guardrails. It's the fans are kind of standing. And I get thrown to the outside, and I've been such a prick because I'm a heel. And a couple guys in the crowd come after me, and then more. And all of a sudden, Jeff runs. This was not planned. He runs from the back into the ring, and the German announcer says, "Jeff Rocco, this is not your match." It was chaos.
Wow.
Everything ended up being okay.
Were they hitting on you?
They were just grabbing me, and I was like, dude, I was fighting back. I was pushing. There was a lot of pushing going on. I think my opponent must have said something to them in German to kind of calm them down, because we continued to work after that. But the one I was going to tell you was I would travel to Jeff all the time, and it was a random show in a fire hall, or so I can't remember where it was. And it was at the time, like, I hadn't seen many big name wrestlers that I watched on TV yet at that time. I don't get starstruck by guys like now because we're coworkers. But when fresh out, here I am, this kid. We're in the back, and I see Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, holy shit, that's Snuka. I'm still being cool, right? I'm completely cool. And Jeff's like, hey, man, look, Jimmy would really, like, he's a really good guy in the locker room. He likes the brotherhood aspect of it. He'd really appreciate it if, you see he's eating, if you just went over there and, grabbed one of his chips off his plate and started eating and talking to him. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, whatever you say. He could have told me to jump off the roof and I would have done it.
Right.
So I go over there, and I'm just about to, like, grab a chip off this dude, and he gives me this look like, who the... and, and then Jeff comes over and he starts laughing. No, Jimmy, we're ribbing him, like, But it was nuts.
It hung you out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then there's a lot of stories in West Virginia that are insane. Again, I can't.
So, what you've been doing this 20 years? I mean, have you been that long?
Damn. So I look at it this way. I probably started training almost that long ago.
So
but I really didn't start wrestling until probably 2010.
Okay.
I mean, because I was doing. If you're just doing one show a month, and not taking it seriously, and not taking your body seriously, like you're doing that as a hobby.
Sure.
2010, I had my daughter. I got the call for the Super 8. And again, like, it sounds silly, but, like, that was, like, a big deal.
Sure.
Like, Kettner would call. It was super secretive, and it was, like... And that's when I was like, okay, it's time I got to make some money. And if I'm going to be in this... Like, the Super 8 was a big deal. Like, if you were in the Super 8 tournament, like, you were on your way. I was like, man, this could be a huge stepping stone and everything. And that's when I look at, like, that's when I really started.
Cool. So what I was leading to is, what keeps you motivated? I mean, I know you got to have your highs and your lows, your ups and downs, moves. But I mean, what?
Man, it's so tough. There's some days, and anybody that you talk to could probably tell you this, doing this, like, some days you get to the building and it's like, you're involved in something, you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. And if you get too much of that, it almost takes a little bit of that passion away.
Yeah.
To where you're just like, man, like, I love doing this. But I don't want to be this guy that continuously bitches.
Right.
And I want to love every time I get in the ring, But what keeps me motivated is, again, all that shit could be going on. You could have a horrible day. Like today was shitty for me. And a lot of the times that I work here in Delaware, I'm getting off of a shift at the prison. So, like, I got off at 8 a.m. today, hit the gym, here we go. Now we're getting ready to wrestle. So it's tough.
Yeah.
Once you break that curtain, man, it's just something.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's like a drug. There's just something
that's when you go into your character or gimmick.
It's therapeutic. It's, again, you get to be somebody different. Sometimes being regular Chris sucks.
Right.
Sometimes it sucks. But when I get to be Chris Wylde, well, that shit never sucks.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And regular people, some people, like, regular people are like, damn, why do you do that for?
Yeah.
Like, why are you, it's...
I just had a memory come up Thursday or Friday of 4 years ago in the Showboat Hotel where you broke your wrist.
God.
That was just, I mean, almost to the day it was 4 years ago.
That was the worst injury I've ever had. That was one of the worst days I ever had.
Yeah, that was.
Took me out of work for a while. Couldn't move my fingers. I mean, it was horrible. And again, mentally, it was like, damn.
Yeah.
Because it was just a weird injury. I came off the top for a drop kick. Done it a million times. This time I landed and my wrist snapped. It was the worst.
Yeah.
But I kind of, it's crazy because I kind of think about that injury, and it's minimized because of COVID.
Yeah.
So and I, knock on wood, I was one of the ones that I never got it. Never got COVID. Never got sick during COVID. But I couldn't do anything for a year and a half.
Right.
Couldn't wrestle. Couldn't do anything. That was horrible. Like I said, this is our escape. When you don't have that escape, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And that was almost worse than the wrist injury. Just
So, we got to wrap this up.
I can talk for hours, brother.
Yeah, that's cool. But I'm doing this mainly to get you guys out there. My hope is promoters will start checking out.
Yeah, appreciate
Poppa
that.
Talks to reach out. So hey, if somebody wants to contact you, how can they get you? Twitter, Instagram?
Facebook. Chris Wylde on Facebook's the best way. Chris Wylde Wrestling at yahoo.com. Also on Twitter. And then my YouTube channel is it's Eagles News Now.
Okay.
Because like I said, I do a lot of Philadelphia stuff. But this is awesome that you do this, and I'd like to get you on my show.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it.
One of these days.
This is my first time on this side of the camera.
Because I'm going to tell you this. I've told you this before, and what you do is priceless to us. Maybe if this is somebody's first episode they're checking out, dude, Papa Scott, the footage that you would take, I mean, you'd take footage of our matches, we'd get it super quick. That's priceless, man. That's worth more than the pay we get, because we need stuff, number one, to look at and learn. This is what didn't work, this is what did work, and then to get out to other promoters.
Right.
It's absolutely priceless. So I thank you for doing that, for doing this. And when, in all reality, you can just do Ty's match and be done.
Right.
And relax.
Right.
Because this is stressful. It's stressful.
And then the editing.
That's a headache. That is an absolute headache. I mean, I'll cut a 2 or 3 minute promo and have to edit it and be like, I just want to run my head through a wall. But yeah, man, this is awesome.
Well,
thank you.
I certainly appreciate it. So I like to close out my shows by giving you the opportunity to ask Poppa a question.
Ooh. Oh man.
I should let you.
That's good.
I don't try not to let people know.
Okay,
Give
so
too much time.
Now tonight I'm gonna be facing your son Ty Austin.
Yes, you are.
Now, is there any time besides tonight that you're going to be afraid, that you were afraid for Ty's health? Legitimately, damn, I don't think he should.
Not beforehand. Sometimes in the moment when he's out there doing stuff, I'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, because I can just imagine as a father, watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The biggest, I had at ECWA one time, he was on the outside and he reached to grab for the rope and missed the rope and did a bump.
Oh man!
From up on the rope all the way to the concrete floor, and that scared me. He popped right up. I don't know if it was adrenaline or what.
Probably.
But, that scared me. I thought he hit his head, but he didn't.
Yeah.
No one had a bump. Whether on concrete or a ring, saved that head.
Yep. Man, I've always wondered that. As a father, is there a moment? Where
there has been, and then he's been in some matches where with some big guys who chop pretty hard.
Okay, I like to chop.
Yeah,
you probably get a couple of those.
He's actually done better with that. He'll return them.
Yeah,
those
I like
guys
that.
who don't return them, they end up getting licked.
Yeah,
it's part of it. It's I'm good. That took me a little bit. He used to, before I started traveling with him, he'd come home and I'd see these handprints on him, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say who because he was here not too long ago, but he's a big name, big out there now. He was wrestling Ty one time, and he nodded on him, blew his nose right on him. That pissed me off.
Oh, it was real?
It was real. I was at ring. I was doing ring.
Oh, man. I can't wait till the camera's off because I'm going to ask who it was. Yeah, that's too much. Yeah, that's way too much.
That was overboard. But he didn't get mad. I was flipping.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot of times just when we get out with our health, we're like, all right, the rest, unless it's something really really disrespect. Like that's disrespectful. Don't get me
That
wrong.
was,
Yeah.
But most time it's pretty good. But hey, again, I just want to thank you for coming and doing this.
Thank you, man.
Poppa Talks.
When I first heard you were doing it, I was like, get me on.
Yeah, man.
Yo, we could do this for. I could do this for hours. Really could.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll do it again.
Yes.